Hey there everybody, it's Jerry from Spectrum. I don't know if you've been following along, but Dave and I have been doing a little challenge to see who can improve our hip mobility the most over the next 2 to 4 weeks. Dave's been doing a lot of band mobilization type work. I'm doing a little bit more yoga focused stuff, so I'll just bring you guys through my little hip mobility routine, give you some things that you can do at home, and go from there. So first one, we're going to be working on some internal rotation. Get into the shin box position, where we want front leg 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees. You're going to sit your hips nice and flat, where you get a good little adductor stretch right in here. You're going to be leaning over this front leg, and this back side, you're going to be trying to actively lift that foot off the ground to get you a relative internal rotation at the hip. Reason I like this is because you're actively bringing yourself through that full range of motion. You get a nice, good stretch there in that hip joint, really controlling that range of motion. So I've been doing it is I've been doing sets of 25. And then same thing on the other side. I've been doing 3 sets of 25 each time. It's not a lot of motion, but again, my hips don't have a lot of motion. All right, the next one's going to be a modified pigeon pose. So what you're going to do, this leg stays in that same position, that one's going out right behind you. You're going to be working some external rotation on this front leg, some extension on this back leg. So you're going to get yourself into this position. What you're going to do is try to sit those hips down as low as possible, and then you're going to squeeze that right glute or that back glute. Get a relative hip extension stretch there, same as you heard people call it the couch stretch, the true hip flexor stretch. All the same kind of idea where we want that really coming from the hip joint as opposed to that low back. So what I've been doing is 10-second squeezes on each side. So hold there, really driving those hips forward, and relax. And then again, same thing on the other side. Next one I'll show you is the frog pose, and this one's going to be ugly. I am terrible with this, so that's why we're working on it. Now you're going to get up. It's the same as Dave's band frog pose. I just don't have a band with mine, so I'm just going to be forcing that movement myself. So feet wider than hips, feet curled out to the side. You get in that quadruped position and just sit on back as far as you can go. I'm actually getting a stretch right about here, which is pretty terrible. So I've been holding for 10-15 seconds. I've been doing 10-15 second holds.
Sorry, I can't do that in
just 22.5 weeks. Here, your future is our focus. Visit goodone.edu/CNC. Start classes January 14th.
That's brutal. I really do not like that one. All right. Last one we're going to do is called a roadkill stretch. So this one you're going to need a plate. 45 pounds should be plenty. You're going to stick that over your foot, just like that. You're going to roll on over onto your side. The goal is to try to get these hips nice and flat down on the ground. I'm not in the ballpark of that, but we try to drive that foot or that hip forward, try to get as close as we can to the ground. This is one, if you're trying at home, you should not feel anything in your knees. If you do reposition yourself, it should be a good stretch right on this back hip. And how I've been doing this one as far as program volume is been driving that hip as far as I can forward, really holding it there, and then relax. And again, I've been doing 10-second holds, hopefully creeping my way down each time, so the last 10-second hold I'm getting closer than I was on the first one. Real good stretch again, right on that inside that hip joint. And then I'll be doing the same thing on the other side. All right, well, so that's my mobility program. Feel free to give it a shot at home and keep up with what Dave and I do. At the end of the month and a couple weeks, we'll show you how we're doing. See whether or not these things are actually working. All right, have a good one.